Hello and welcome to Planet Waves TV for Friday, October 15th, 2021. Today's theme is Mercury stationing direct. What is the state of truth? So you might think of it as the State of the Truth address here on the occasion of Mercury stationing direct. By the way, that aspect or event takes place on the 18th. That's Monday at 11:17 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So we've been in Mercury retrograde since late September. This has been another really weird one. I have my theory as to why that is. Mercury retrogrades have always been a little bit strange. There's always just been a little, extra mojo for things going wrong and misunderstandings and all of that. But we now live in a world that is so dominated by all things mercurial. I'm sitting at a desk where there's probably 10 different microprocessors on my desk, only counting the iMac as one, which probably has 10 inside of it. And so we're like living in this really stretched thin environment where everything is connected to everything and everyone is connected to everyone. And in that state of mind, it is possible to have real problems when anything of a mercurial nature goes wrong. Things can pile on top of one another. And we saw a lot of strange things. We saw Facebook go down for 6 or 8 hours. We don't know why that happened. We don't know if that was not some prank that they staged or whether some hacktivists really did reassign their DNS entry. We saw we saw a so-called whistleblower come forward to Congress saying that Facebook's big sin was not taking the safety of its readers into account. Therefore, the only solution is more censorship. That was the message of that. Not what they're doing with your data, not what they've done to your privacy, not what they're doing to your self-esteem. No, the danger of viewpoints that should be censored. Also, during this Mercury retrograde, we had this, though it had been bouncing around for a while, suddenly coming to the surface, this quote by, this 57-minute meeting featuring Anthony Fauci and Rick Bright from the Department of Health and Human Services and a bunch of other people talking about how they need to rebrand the influenza to seem as deadly as cancer and AIDS. They said this, they admitted this on October 2019. Fauci personally said that we need to rebrand the influenza to make people think that it's as deadly as cancer and AIDS. Therefore, we will achieve greater market saturation with our new next generation vaccine that happens to be the very thing that unfolded in the subsequent 3 months. That was an incredible revelation, and it's just been one after the next like that. So the truth is known. That's the thing. It's never an issue of whether the truth is known or whether the truth is available. The question is anybody interested in what is true? Is anyone interested in what comes to the surface? What is available? And this is something that is it's not really editable by anybody but you. The question is, how much does learning matter to you? So we tend to live in a world where people think that if some new fact challenges the basis of their opinion, that the facts are the thing that must be wrong and must be fact-checked out of existence, or which generally means someone looks on CNN and see if it got a story, and if it didn't, then it's not true. So the question is, what is your attitude toward the truth? And what is your ability to change your point of view and your state of mind based on what you learn? Or said another way, are you capable of learning? So this is a really great Mercury retrograde, Mercury direct kind of question. Are you capable of learning? So this is typical, for example, in charts of people with Mercury retrograde. They can be, in their natal chart, they can be accused of being a little slow on the uptake. They can be, they can be treated like they're a little touched, as they say in Maine, like touched in the head. They can be treated as if they're outright stupid. But the chances are they're the kids who are the most likely to sit in the back of the classroom because they're not interested in playing the normal game with teachers and raising their hand and giving the answer that they're supposed to give. The kids in the back of the room are the ones thinking about the situation their own way. So, to sum up, this has been a time of incredible revelation, this Mercury retrograde phase, particularly the events right around the peak of last weekend's Mars conjunct retrograde Mercury conjunct the Sun. That was big. That was the peak of the whole thing. And now we're moving toward Mercury stationing direct. And it does so, by the way, at, let's see what degree, at about 10 degrees of Libra. Interesting in its own right. I'll get to that in 1 second. And one of the things I've seen, because I've done so much astrology and news reporting, and often news reporting means long investigations ahead of the story, is that when Mercury stations direct this second storm phase, there can be this big perk of things that come out of the universe. There can be all manner of revelations. But the real question of Mercury retrograde is your mind open? Are you willing to listen, and are you willing to hear, and are you willing to challenge and reconsider your own views? This is made out to be the biggest thing in the world. I don't like using this word, but that is pure ego defensiveness. It is pure, I don't have, it makes me uncomfortable to think about anything that might be different than what I already believe. And we live in a time when to make someone uncomfortable is a kind of a federal offense. We went through a lot of stuff in late 2017 and 2018 that was mostly about whether people felt comfortable. And so somehow this thing about does this information, word, concept, image, joke, whatever, make someone uncomfortable has become the basis of the entire economy. It is absolutely ridiculous. Part of living in the free world means that you must be subjected to things that make you uncomfortable. I don't particularly like that motorcycles come roaring down my street. It makes me uncomfortable. But I have to live with the fact that the motorcycles are there, and there's nothing I can do, and I'm not gonna, take out a gun and shoot them as they drive by. And on that same basis, we all must live with a little bit of discomfort in order to be free ourselves. And we need to live with the fact that some things that we do and think and decide, in certain ways that we might dress or carry ourselves, or certain ways we may speak or think, make people uncomfortable. That's just a fact of life. It's not everyone else's job to make you comfortable. That's not the role of all those people out there in the world, and it's certainly not my role as someone who is here to present to you things you might not have thought of. And I have to say, it has been some very strange times these past couple of years of, for the first time, being accused by readers and listeners and subscribers and clients who had followed me, some of them for 20 years, and respected me as a thinker, to just decide that either I'm an idiot, I'm arrogant, I'm smug, I have reckless disregard for the truth because I don't look at someone's 70 studies on something when I know the basis of all of those studies is incorrect. I recently had to correct someone who said that I was like basically a smug son of a bitch. I said, no, I'm a thorough and relentless and honest reporter. I'm going to tell you what I learned. And I think we need to build up this ethos of, first of all, being willing to tell each other what we are learning, being willing to tell each other what we notice, being willing to share one another's reality, being willing and able to openly talk about what is so. What is so? What is so for you? And this is in the public realm. This is for the High Falls Food Co-op, where they still think everyone should be wearing a gas mask, and it's for your most private, intimate partnerships, where you have to say to someone that you love and care about and live with and seek to understand, where you have to learn to say to them what might make them uncomfortable as well, and to hear what might make you uncomfortable. We do a lot of pussyfooting in this world, of blaming, not wanting to make others uncomfortable, or just not wanting to disappoint people for not telling them the basic truth that affects their life. It's not like it doesn't affect their life. The whole reason they need to know is that your point of view affects their life. It's not just your life that your point of view affects. And when people persist in doing this, they can come to live lives of total mendacity with one another and then wonder where all their intimacy went. Well, I'll tell you where it went. It got smothered in mendacity. There's a statement out of the Bible that I frequently falsely attribute to Moses, but I believe it is actually a quotation of Jesus, according to the Testaments, that the truth will make you free. And I'm saying here that the truth may make you uncomfortable, and they may be the same thing. And the reason they may be the same thing is, for many people, freedom is uncomfortable. Having the urgency, the necessity, the power, the ability to make your own choices and make your own mistakes and live with your own mistakes is the cost of freedom. And this is very difficult territory for many people who would much rather have someone to blame, who would much rather say, well, Biden made me do it. Thanks, Obama, whatever. Anthony Fauci said that it was the right thing to do. My doctor said that it was the right thing to do. And well, so you think you're off the hook, but you're not really off the hook, because ultimately you're the first person who lives with the consequences of your decisions, and then everybody else around you lives with the consequences of your decisions, and that makes people very uncomfortable. And we need to tune into that and recognize that. We might need to accept it to a certain degree, but the truth is that we are all who we are, and lying about who we are and concealing who we are does not change that ultimately, nor does blaming people for the choices that you make in any way change the impact of what you're going through. It certainly doesn't make your life easier, and if anything, makes it much harder to not understand that your power of decision is your one remaining freedom as a prisoner of this world, or an occupant of this world, or as a resident of this world. But most people, to some extent, greater or lesser, feel like prisoners. And to whatever extent you may feel like a prisoner of this world, your power of decision is all you have, and in reality, it's all you need, and it is your only real power. Good decisions are based on good information. One of the reasons why it's appropriate to wait for Mercury to station direct to make a decision is because you are unlikely to be working with full information when Mercury stations direct. until Mercury stations direct. On this particular run of Mercury retrograde, you might have learned a lot last weekend and a couple of days before with the Mars Moon Sun conjunction, and then the Mercury Mars Sun conjunction on Saturday, that now would be a time to wait for one last little bit of information to come out, one last little whatever it's going to bubble out of the universe between now and like Tuesday, for example, and then figure out what it is you need to do. Figure out what is right for you and do that thing, and be truthful with the people around you if you are doing something that is right for you that impacts their lives. And stop making excuses that, oh, well, it's going to hurt the person, it's going to disappoint the person, I don't really want them to know. It's not really their business what I decide. And to whatever extent that may be true, the other question is, perhaps the far more important question is, what does intimacy really mean to you? Does intimacy mean anything if there's not bona fide, authentic, level, on the ground, basic communication? All right, that is the message that I have for you this week on occasion of Mercury stationing direct in Libra at exactly 10 degrees and 8 minutes Libra. By the way, very close to an opposition with Chiron in a kind of right at the midpoint of the of a trine between Jupiter in Aquarius and Saturn in Aquarius. By the time this happens, I think on the 18th, Jupiter stations direct. So now Jupiter and Saturn are stationing direct. Jupiter is going to be on its way to Pisces. It arrives there, I think, on the 28th or the 29th of December. But bear in mind, this Mercury retrograde is making a lot of aspects to things, as it did at the beginning. At the beginning, Mercury stationing retrograde was making contact with Jupiter, Pluto, Eris, and a couple of other things. And now Mercury stationing direct is making contact with Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, Nessus, Chiron, Uranus, all of the above. Exciting times ahead. Pay attention. You can listen to Planet Waves FM. Tonight it's going to be a humdinger of an edition. Usually goes up on the website and stays. It's an on-demand program at about 8 o'clock Eastern Time, p.m. on Fridays, planetwaves.fm. Please click subscribe and like and share this video. I have to get used to the fact that some of my colleagues are getting 20,000 hits, but thank you for the 500 hits and 3,000 subscribes and all of that. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Kate, for processing this video. Bye for now.